Coming to you from the mountains and the plain. The only conservative voices brave enough to push back. This is the Conservative Daily Podcast with Joe Otto.
That's what the Second Amendment was designed to do. If you're going to do something to nullify or take away my rights under the Constitution, come get it.
Max McGuire.
When you look at politicians on the left, they need to convince people that they are victims.
A resistance to the resistance. And now your hosts, Joe Otto and Max McGuire.
And welcome back to another edition of the Conservative Daily Podcast. My name is Max McGuire.
And this is Joe Otto. Today we're going to be talking to you about
the
Biden crime family.
Yeah, that's Joe Otto's impression of
Max, I'm about to give you some cement slippers.
Max is tired, guys. So, there you go.
Don't
Here
give
goes.
me any respect. I'm telling you, Hunter, you're going to go to Ukraine. You're going to give me 50% of your salary. And then when you get into problems, don't worry. Pops will fix it for you.
Yeah, today we're talking about the Biden crime family.
By the way, that was Max. That was not Joe. That was actually better than
me.
That was better than me, but
we're going to be talking about the Biden crime family. And this is important because if you went off of the mainstream media, they would say that the Biden crime family doesn't even exist. They are refusing to cover the scandal with Hunter Biden's emails, which I love this, Joe. The left is screaming, oh, emails, as if this is the same as Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton's emails showed that she mishandled classified information. These are private and business emails from Hunter Biden and soon to be his business associates, which we haven't even got to see yet. One of Hunter Biden's associates has flipped from behind bars and now has given conservative reporters access to his Gmail account. So they're going through all 26,000 of his emails to see what's going on. We're going to go through the Hunter Biden emails because what they show is obvious criminality, that there is a scheme here between Joe Biden, Hunter Biden, the whole Biden family to monetize the vice presidency, to profit off of the vice presidency. Joe Biden, when he was vice president, reported just under $400K in income his final year in office. The 2 years after he left office, he reported $15 million in income. So what we're going to talk about is how they set up their scheme so that on day one after the vice presidency, Joe Biden could profit from Hunter's global endeavors. So we're going to be going through the emails, talking about it. Carl says in the email, welcome back to Max's beard. Yeah, the beard is still here.
it's coming up.
It went away. It went away for a couple days, and now it's back. It grows at the same rate as my hair, so which is why my hair is not glued up today. I've reached the point where the glue won't hold it up anymore. Joe, talk to me about what you're seeing in the emails, because I know that if your son, I don't think your son would ever do this, but if your son was going around and trying to profit off of your name, you'd be pissed.
Yeah.
If your son was running around saying, hey, give me $1 million and I'll give you access to my father, or give me $10 million and I'll introduce you to my father, you'd be super pissed, wouldn't you?
First of all, that would never happen in my family just because of a couple things. One of which is I teach my kids better. I also teach them not to be a Democrat. So, I mean, I would start there. Sorry if you're a Democrat, not sorry. But the other part is that, this is an acceptable behavior within their entire family, right? I mean, they literally are breeding this dishonest character in the way that they live their lives and the way they brought up their kids. And, Hunter, I'm not going to say that I heard a source, but there might be a source out there that says that they probably even share the pipes, right? Crack pipe, meth pipe, you name it.
That's where it gets interesting, because in addition to all of this treasure trove of damning emails, we also have a lot of personal stuff. Apparently, there's pornographic videos of Hunter Biden on the laptop. Some people are even suggesting it might be child endangerment, child pornography, really sick stuff.
Now, we haven't been able to confirm that, so we want to be really careful.
Yeah.
We're not saying that that's happened. Now, the crack pipe picture or the meth pipe,
confirmed.
your pick, that is confirmed, right? And they're like, oh, it's doctored. No, it's not. It's actually been authenticated.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been authenticated by a couple different outlets who used machine learning, artificial intelligence to dive into the picture and see whether it was Photoshop.
We did that.
No, we didn't.
Yes, we did. No, we did too. We did it here.
They've confirmed.
Because we got in a big argument.
They've confirmed that Hunter Biden's picture is accurate. That is him falling asleep with a meth pipe hanging out of his mouth. Really sad stuff. Sad emails. Like Hunter Biden emailed himself about the death of his brother. Really sad stuff. And little bits of information that prove beyond a doubt that this is Hunter Biden's laptop. Really, really sad stuff. But I want to start, if we can, with this first email. And this is from Hunter Biden. This is to Hunter Biden from
this was a good
Vadim Pajarsky. This is the one we covered last week. Let's go ahead and put up image 1. This is image 1, and it's from Vadim Pajarsky, who, if anyone doesn't know, he was the number 3 executive at Burisma Holdings, which is the Ukrainian energy company. And this was an email to Hunter and Devin after they joined the board. Devin Archer, Hunter Biden, basically talking about what the company is going through. So talking about how a general prosecutor and the Minister of Ecology are going after Burisma, right? Talking about all of the problems that Burisma is facing. Then let's go ahead to image 2. This is the bottom half of the email, where Vadim Pajarsky says these are typical instruments that are being used to destabilize their business. And then he says, this is the important quote, "We urgently need your advice on how you could use your influence to convey a message / signal, etc., to stop what we consider to be politically motivated actions, bearing in mind the following." And that says that Burisma is a leader among private gas producers, that our primary client is Ukraine's biggest metal steel plant. Our clients and their productions are largely dependent on our work. We employ hundreds of employees, and negative influence on our companies may result in multi-level negative social, economical, and political consequences. This is written by someone who obviously English isn't his first language. But so the email goes through all the things that Burisma is going through and all what they say are political attacks. And it's asking Hunter Biden to use his influence to find a way to make those political attacks go away. And it does include, Joe, it does include in this email complaints about the general prosecutor going against Burisma. It's a very important point that I haven't seen other outlets really focus on. The general prosecutor was brought up in that email about how Burisma was pissed off about him. And we know that within 2 years of that email being sent, a little over 2 years, Joe Biden was in Ukraine threatening to withhold U.S. assistance to Ukraine unless they fired that same prosecutor. So
and then he bragged about it.
Fill in the gaps.
And then he bragged about it. Yeah.
We're going to fill in those gaps and show how we get there. But right off the bat, Burisma asked for Hunter Biden to make their political problems with the prosecutor go away. And then 3 years later, Joe Biden does just that. Forces Ukraine to fire the prosecutor. Now,
and Ukraine came out, guys, Ukraine came out and said that Vice President Biden was corrupt. I mean, they came out, they recorded conversations. That came out 6 months ago.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it all comes together. It all comes together. I don't even know where to start. I don't even know where to start with the fact that they're not in jail, that they haven't been arrested, that there's no indictment, that Barr's not doing his job. I'm sorry, he's not. You don't say because there's an election going on, you let a crime be committed. No.
Yeah, you don't.
That's not the. You don't let the country get run like a crime family. You don't let it get run like it's somebody's blank checkbook. We pay taxes for what? To not have corruption. Yet all we deal with right now is corruption. Yeah. And no matter where we look, it's always corruption. Always. We're tired of it, and we play. Oh.
So I forgot to talk about this at the start. Just in case there's any doubt, Mr. Producer, go ahead and put up my screen.
Can you guys share this, please? Share this.
Just in case, hit the share button on this.
Share. No, they're not covering. They cover it 2 days later.
This is an email from Hunter Biden's attorney to the computer repairman in Delaware last week. Obviously, one of these news outlets, probably the New York Post, asked Hunter Biden for comment before they went live with the story. And all of a sudden, Hunter sends his lawyer out to try and collect the laptop. Oops, too late, Hunter. This is an email from Hunter Biden's lawyer to the laptop repairman, a follow-up from a phone conversation. And it says, "John Paul, thank you for speaking with me tonight. As indicated, I am a lawyer for Hunter Biden, and I appreciate you reviewing your records on this matter. Thank you." So there was damage control. Anyone who says that these are fake emails, if they were fake emails, Hunter Biden wouldn't have paid an attorney to go and try and collect the laptop after he learned that these stories were coming out. So I just want to make sure we understood that. These aren't fake emails. This isn't Russian disinformation, as the left is claiming. These are real emails from a real laptop that Hunter Biden simply forgot to pay the bill on the repair. We can go ahead and take that off the screen. Joe, what do you think about the media claiming that this is Russian disinformation?
I think it's a lie. I think it's just like everything else the media does. The media does nothing but lie. They lie about everything. They lie, twist. We just filed, we just actually, I shouldn't say we filed. I just approved a lawsuit against 3 news organizations this morning. So one was on what they did with Tig, right? On John Tig Tigan, right? An American hero. That these clowns that are trying to say that he's anything but an American hero, they're slandering his name.
Yeah.
Right? So we got that one. We have a lawsuit against what they're doing against FEC. That's the second lawsuit, and then the third lawsuit we have against the media is about the disinformation that they pushed out there, or the suppression of information they put out there against conservative groups. Now, we haven't filed the third one yet, or actually got approval on the third one, because we're still actually connecting to other conservative organizations that are getting suppressed and or censored. So, but we're going to go after them. We're going to create a lawsuit against the social media platforms for doing what they're doing now, and we're not going to stop. We're going to keep suing the journalists. We're going to keep suing all of them, because the media is just a bunch of scumbags. They're just scumbags.
Yeah. So last week, the FBI, it was leaked out that the FBI was now investigating Hunter Biden's emails, and I was like, "Yay!
Yeah.
The FBI is going to investigate." Then the next shoe dropped. They're not investigating Hunter Biden's crimes. They're investigating whether it is Russian disinformation. Those were leaks.
Right.
And if you notice, the media, they didn't cite anyone on the record. They cited American spies as if that they just know. So I want to put up my screen again, Mr. Producer. This is today. DNI, Director of National Intelligence, John Ratcliffe, he announced today that the info on Hunter Biden's laptop is not a Russian disinformation campaign. It did not come from Russia. It came from a Delaware computer repair company, and it was given to Rudy Giuliani and the FBI/DOJ. The FBI/DOJ refused to act on it. Thank goodness. Oh, damn you ads. Freaking Audi ad.
Look who wants an Audi.
Yeah, no, never.
Somebody, mama wants an Audi.
The FBI and the DOJ have sat on it for over a year.
Yeah.
We know from the subpoenas that they subpoenaed this hard drive and this laptop last December. They've been sitting on it. And I want to just make sure we all know, folks, Donald Trump was impeached because when he learned about this, he told his Ukrainian counterpart, "This sounds horrible to me, and that Ukraine should work with the DOJ and investigate it." That's why he was impeached. He was impeached because he heard about Hunter Biden's corruption, Joe Biden's corruption, and he said, "That's horrible to me. It should be looked at." That was the grounds for his impeachment. Everything we're going to talk about today. And notice all that I was
all the stuff that he was doing. All the stuff that he was doing.
I was looking at articles. The Democrats saying, "Oh, well, there's no evidence Joe Biden had any corrupt intent with Ukraine. No evidence of Biden crime family corruption." Notice how none of those articles are actually being retracted. None of those articles are being edited to reflect the new information coming out. They're just going to keep rolling with the, oh, it's not true. It didn't happen. So it's really scummy. So we know that from that first email that we just put up, that Burisma's number 3 executive emailed Hunter Biden asking for him to use his influence to help make the company's political problems go away. And that email included discussion of the general prosecutor. Very important. I want to go to image 3. This is one we didn't show. We didn't put up yet on the podcast. This is image 3. This is from a man named Eric Schwerin to Hunter Biden.
Yeah.
Complaining that Burisma's website had Joe Biden's picture on it. It says, "Hey guys, there's apparently a photo of Devin and the VP on Burisma's website. I can't see it. The website isn't working very well right now. But Delmitra, Vice President's counsel, called and asked that we tell Burisma they need to take it down. Legally, they aren't comfortable with the VP's picture being up on the site as what it seems like an endorsement. Are either of you in touch with them to ask them to do so, or is this someone or is there someone you want me to call? Demetra or someone from over there may call directly, but she asked if we could do it and she didn't know who to call. Let me know if there is something I can do." So I want to make sure you understand this. Put that image up one more time, Mr. Producer. Look at the date on that. That's May 13th, 2014. May 13th, 2014. Mr. Producer, put up image number 1 again. Image number 1, the email from Burisma to Hunter on May 12th, asking for him to use his influence. That was on May 12th.
Yep.
The following day, the vice president is scrambling to get his picture taken off of Burisma's site.
Yeah.
So I just want to make sure everyone understands.
Oh, this is misinformation. Misinformation.
This was happening at the same time the same time that Burisma was telling Hunter Biden that, hey, you work for us now, use your influence to get rid of our political problems, at the same time, they had Joe Biden's picture on their website. Folks, and we can take that off the screen. Folks, there's no longer any doubt. Burisma knew what they were buying when they hired Hunter Biden, right? You don't email asking him about his influence and then put up a picture of the vice president on their website and say that the two aren't connected. They knew that they were buying the vice president's son, and they knew that by asking Hunter to get rid of their political problems, that they were actually calling on the vice president to get involved, which we're about to see. That is exactly what happened. But Joe, let's go back to hypotheticals. Your son takes a job at a company because he's your son, and that company puts your picture on their website. How pissed would you be?
I'd be really pissed. I'd be pissed. And I'd be scrambling. Let's get it down. Let's get it down. We got to get down.
Hey, you gotta make sure you take this down. It's gonna affect the presidency.
That was
terrible.
That was even worse than the first one.
Hey, look, I was getting closer. Come on now. I see.
Hey, you show me so much disrespect. I show you put disrespect. My image on your website. Why you do that to me? Yeah. You can't do this.
Here's another email. Let's put up image 4. This is from Vadim Pajarsky to Devin, Hunter, and apparently someone also named Heather. That was probably a misspelling from Hunter because there's no Heather on the trail. Following your inquiry, please find the information below. My job title at Burisma is consultant to the board of directors. And here's what his duties include: managing the work of the board of directors. So when he tells Hunter Biden to use his influence, Burisma has hired him to manage the board of directors, to handle external relations of the company, including PR, and preparing board of directors for meetings and ensure the executions of the decisions taking part in the formation of a development strategy of the company. So that's just so we're clear. This wasn't some random person. This is the person that Burisma assigned to tell Hunter Biden what to do. Yep. Now, Joe, you said you'd be pissed if a company put your picture up because they hired your son, as some kind of evidence that you endorsed them. Would you then agree to a meeting with that company if you know, hey, this scummy company is putting my picture online, claiming I endorse them when I don't? Would you ever agree to sit down with them?
No.
Well, we know that Hunter Biden apparently set up that meeting.
Well, look, it's cut and dry. This is all cut and dry. Cut, dry. I feel like Max Holdren. I don't know how they haven't arrested this guy. See, some of you guys know who Max Holdren is. Josh doesn't. Yeah, but somebody out there's got to know who Max Holdren is. But I'm telling you, listen, come on, man. Why hasn't he been arrested? What are we waiting for? Are we waiting for him to become president? Well, hopefully, God forbid it happens. But so that he can we're sweeping under the rug? Are we really as American people so stupid that we want corruption, that we want to have corruption in our the biggest office in the world?
Yeah.
I just can't. I can't.
So let's put up image 5. This is the meeting. This is the email that we've all heard about from Vadim Pajarsky to Hunter Biden. Dear Hunter.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, Carl wrote in here, Biden, if my family does well, America does better.
Yes.
Hey, how in the world? That's a direct quote. Direct. Yeah. Thank you, Carl. Thanks for bringing that in. Hi, Richard.
So, Vadim Pajarsky to Hunter Biden. Dear Hunter, thank you for inviting me to D.C. and giving an opportunity to meet your father and misspelling some time together. It's realty. Again, is the Ukrainian right English. It's really, I'm just going to read it as it should be. It's really an honor and pleasure. As we spoke yesterday evening, would be great to meet today for a quick coffee. What do you think? I could come to your office somewhere around noon or so before or on my way to the airport. Best V, short for Vadim. So that is an email, a thank you email. Like anytime you have a meeting, Joe, you have a meeting with someone, a meeting goes well, you thank the person who set up the meeting. If you don't have the ability to thank the person directly, right? This is a thank you. Thank you for setting up that meeting. So we have Vadim Pajarsky telling Hunter Biden to use his influence to help make the company's political problems go away. Vadim then gets Hunter to set up the meeting with the vice president. He wasn't just Joe Biden. At that point, he was vice president of these United States of America. This is where it gets really, really nasty. Remember the law that Manafort was charged with violating? It was the Foreign Agents Registration Act, FARA. which is the idea that if you're going to register on behalf of a foreign country or a foreign government or a foreign company, you're going to be a foreign lobbyist, you need to register with the United States. Hunter Biden did not register as a foreign agent, as a foreign lobbyist. He didn't. He was not registered as a lobbyist. So here we have an email proving that Hunter set up a meeting with his father, a meeting directly to benefit a Ukrainian energy company, and Hunter Biden is not registered as a foreign lobbyist. There's other emails in this chain showing that they're trying to find a lobbyist to do their work with the State Department, but Hunter didn't use a lobbyist to get to Vice President Biden. He set the meeting up himself. So right there, if we lived in a just and equal world, Hunter Biden would be charged with the same crime that Paul Manafort was charged with, operating on U.S. soil as a foreign lobbyist without registering with the federal government. But the FBI and the DOJ sat on this for almost a year, and they're refusing to touch it. They're refusing to do anything with it. It's absolutely shameful. Everyone, hit that share button on Facebook. Give us a thumbs up, like, comment.
Listen,
and on YouTube, make sure you give us a thumbs up to like. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, then hit the bell for notifications. Very
guys,
important.
if you don't share it, how are other people going to see it? Because we already know Facebook and Twitter and everyone else is actually suppressing the truth. We already know that they're lying. I mean, the New York Post literally ran an article and they banned them. They took away their account. This is how bad it's gotten. This is the weaponization. This is what happens when you have an echo chamber of ideology. It's scary. You want to know what else was an echo chamber of ideology? Nazis. That was an echo chamber of ideology. So I'm telling you right now, we are going down a scary road where the Democrats are getting together with people like Our Revolution. They're saying they're going to kill people in the street.
Yeah.
Just think about that. I mean, share it.
And this is what really pisses me off with how they're attacking Rudy Giuliani. Remember, Rudy Giuliani got all of this around impeachment, around the same time as impeachment. It was a national story that Donald Trump was being accused of violating his oath of office by encouraging the investigation of a previous vice president into what he did in Ukraine. That's what happened. That's why Donald Trump was impeached, because he looked at what Hunter and Joe Biden were doing and said, that sounds horrible to me. Exact quote. Around that time, the shop owner of the computer repair shop in Delaware realized that he had Hunter Biden's laptop. Hunter Biden hadn't paid for it. He tried to call Hunter Biden. He never came back to get it up. Per the terms of their contract, I would imagine if you don't pick up your property after X amount of time and the company's already repaired it, company owns it. That's typical with computer repair shops. It's typical with any repair shop. If they spend the money to repair it and you don't pay in X number of days, it becomes their property. He goes into the laptop, realizes that Hunter Biden still has his cell phone and everything connected through iCloud, and he says, wow, I'm going to get this to Rudy Giuliani. When they're saying that this is a deliberate attempt to take Joe Biden down, realize that he sent this to Rudy Giuliani when impeachment was going on, when Rudy Giuliani was representing the president and saying, hey, there was reason to want Joe Biden to be investigated, to want Hunter Biden to be investigated. So this was defense materials. These were sent to the defense in an impeachment case. The fact that the House Republicans, Senate Republicans were too cowardly to force the subpoenas of Joe Biden or Hunter Biden doesn't change the fact that these were defensive documents given to the defense in an impeachment case by a concerned citizen who said, listen, the president's right on this. Hunter Biden's really screwy. And yes, he gave it to the DOJ and the FBI. At the same time, the DOJ, FBI issued a subpoena to get it officially, and nothing's happened. So it just shows you that how much cowardice there is in Washington. There's not one person in the DOJ, FBI willing to go forward with this. The Republicans in Congress wouldn't subpoena Joe or Hunter Biden. Democrats certainly wouldn't. And we said it before on the podcast, we'd be in a much better position if Joe or Hunter at that point had been forced to at least submit written answers to questioning, right? If they had been at least forced to submit written answers, we know they would have been the same as what they said on camera in interviews, that they had no corruption. Joe Biden had no idea what his son was doing. And then with those, we'd be able to prosecute them for perjury at this point. But that to me is the biggest failure of the Republicans this year. And there are actually many of them, which is why today we're running a campaign. We have the link in our description and a link in the comment section on Facebook pinned at the bottom. And I'm going to go ahead and put it on YouTube as well. If you want to help support the channel and you want to pressure Congress to subpoena Joe and Hunter Biden, link in the description, link in the comment section to do so. Join our Fax Blast campaign and help us to put pressure on Congress and force them to act. So it seems like it's pretty cut and dry, right? Burisma, Joe, asked for Hunter Biden to use his influence to get rid of their political problems.
Yeah, and they did.
And then all of
And
a
they
sudden,
did.
Hunter sets up a meeting with Joe, and then we know less than a year after that meeting, Joe steps in and says, if you don't fire that general prosecutor, the one that they were complaining about in the email, if you don't fire him, I'm going to withhold aid, assistance, U.S. assistance to Ukraine. It's pretty easy. It's the quid pro quo. The question is, why? The question is, why did Joe Biden do that? Why do you think Joe Biden did that, Joe?
I think Joe Biden is a scumbag.
I think that's probably true. Up until this point, I thought it was to protect his son.
No,
Right?
okay.
That was the narrative. That his son
It wasn't
is-
to protect
is-
himself. It was to protect himself. But
Yes.
but in reality, it wasn't just to protect himself. It was also to protect President Obama, because I do believe that this rolls downhill. I do believe that Joe Biden, as the vice president, wasn't doing things that President Obama didn't know about. Right?
Yeah.
You have this massive amount of collusion and corruption that happened inside the Obama administration. Right? They have literally put people in positions for years. They've been doing this for years. Right? Years. And then as people get put in those positions, they indoctrinate those people. It's like a secret society that they unleashed inside of our government. It's happening. It's happening.
So the narrative up until this point was that Joe Biden was doing this to protect his son. His son sat on the board of directors. They were being investigated. It was a corrupt company. The narrative was that Joe Biden did this to stop his son from getting caught up in a corruption scandal, because you can't sit on the board of directors for a corrupt company being investigated for corruption and not get sucked into it, right? Being on the board of directors, he had to have taken votes, yes votes or no votes, that would have impacted that prosecution. So we thought that this was all about protecting his son, protecting his family. It turns out this looks like it was to protect Joe Biden's own financial interests, his own livelihood. Let's go ahead and put up image 6. Joe, I know you've seen this before. This is a text message from Hunter Biden to his daughter, and they're talking about family. And Hunter Biden says, "I love you. I love all of you, but I don't receive any respect." And that's fine, I guess. Works for you, apparently. I hope you all can do what I did and pay for everything for this entire family for 30 years. It's really hard, but don't worry. Unlike Pop, I won't make you give me half your salary. So that's a text message, and the reason we have this is Hunter Biden linked his iPhone to his MacBook. All the texts were saved. Hunter Biden telling his daughter, "Don't worry. Yeah, I do everything. I won't make you do everything, but don't worry. I won't. Unlike Pop, I won't make you give me half your salary."
This is sad. This just shows you how just evil Joe Biden is. He's evil. He's evil, surrounded by evil. So you have an evil Joe Biden, surrounded by an evil Kamala Harris, surrounded by evil people in positions. I don't even, you have an evil Hunter Biden. It's just evil. What we're dealing with is the innate evil. This is evil. This is like satanic stuff. Sorry, call it what it is. How evil do you have to be to use the entire U.S. government at your beck and call in order to create havoc for other people?
Yeah.
It's evil. It's evil.
And just in case there was any doubt that Hunter Biden using the word pop, in case there was any doubt that he was referring to Joe Biden, let's go ahead and put up the next image, image 7. This is a screen grab from the video. I don't know if you remember this, Joe, from the DNC convention of Hunter Biden's grandchildren talking about grandpa. And multiple times in that video, they referred to Joe Biden as Pop. As Pop. In one section of the video, I believe Naomi even referred to him as Pop. So there's no doubt here. When Hunter Biden says, "Unlike Pop, I won't make you give me half your salary," that Pop means Joe Biden. There's no doubt. There's no doubt whatsoever. So this takes this forces us to look at this whole scandal in a new way. Because instead of it being family-oriented, we got to protect the family, Joe Biden forcing Hunter to give him half his salary. If Hunter Biden's making $50K a month to sit on Burisma's board, that means Joe Biden is making $25K a month for Hunter to sit on Burisma's board. So it creates a whole new way of looking at this. So he's not just meeting to help his son advance his career, right? Joe Biden met with the Burisma executive because it's his financial interest at stake here too.
All right. So can I stop here for a minute? I want to stop here for a minute.
Sure.
I know you got a lot to go through, and I want to go through all of that stuff. But I want to stop. I got a special announcement for everyone that's listening. I'm going to put this in the comments below. We've been dealing with a massive amount of suppression, right? On Facebook, on Twitter, on pretty much all of them. I mean, they all suppress it pretty much evenly. I mean, it's like they collude together, which, by the way, should be considered a crime. Actually, it is a crime.
Yeah.
But I want
It is a
to
crime.
I want to tell you right now, if you go to your cell phone, everybody has their cell phone out. Get your cell phone out. I'm going to put it in the comments. If you text to 89517 the word freedom, just freedom, FREEDOM, freedom. What we're doing is in this technology part of basically deplatforming is that we're going to start using different tools in order to tell you what's going on when we're doing the podcast. And we're going to put the podcast on a live center on the website so that we don't have to rely on this, on any of the social platforms at all, right? And we own the servers, we own the colo location, so they can't interfere with anything that we're doing, okay? We own the pipeline, we own all of it. So if you actually text to 89517, the word freedom, what you will get in return is welcome to Conservative Daily Podcast notification system. In order to combat the communist weaponized tech companies, we want to be able to bring you the truth. We will send you a notification when we go live and on all alerts. We will send you a text with a link. Thank you for being a part of our community. So you're going to get that. And then in that's going to be a link where you can sign up if you want to do other things with us. But
Well, let me stop right there, because another way to get onto it is to go into our email in our description. We already have it.
Hold on a second.
In our description, there's a link to join our email newsletter, and in that, there's also a place where you can add your cell phone number. That's another way to get added to it.
Okay, that's not complicated. I want to make it real easy. 89517. Text to 89. Go to put it in there with the number you're going to send it to, 89517, and then just text freedom, FREEDOM. And from there, we'll send you a notification before we go live, like a couple minutes before we go live, with a link of where you can go to actually watch this show. So I just want you to know, I know people are going to be watching this on the podcast too, but we'll also, as you get onto that list, we'll send you other alerts and things that are going on. But we've also got on the site, we're gonna build things such as direct notifications, so we can actually send you a notification on your phone, on your laptop, on your iPad. That'll tell you what's going on, anything that's going on that you need to be aware of. So we're also building an app, so the app will be out. That app will be on Apple and on the whatchamacallit room. What's it called? Not Apple. What's the other one?
Google Play?
Droid. Google Play. Yeah.
Google
And if they cut us off, we've actually got another program that we've built that'll allow us to circumvent all that. So I'm going to, I wanted, Max, I know that you had a lot of stuff going on here, and I've reviewed it. It's great stuff.
And
but I think we had to take this minute.
One of the things that we're going to want to make sure that we do too is to make sure that on the website that there's a way for people to comment, because one of the best parts about the show is that people are talking to each other about what we're talking about, sending us messages in, commenting about what we're saying, sending us things to talk about. So it's very important that we also include a robust way to message with each other and message us. So that will be included. Don't worry. If it isn't in the rollout, it will be included in the next parts. And those emails will also include YouTube links and Facebook links until we get that up and completely running. So yeah, that's good news. Everyone text freedom to 89517, freedom to 89517. So let's jump back into it. We don't have too much to get through. We don't have too much to get through. It's mostly we're going to be talking about this. And if anyone else has other emails that you want us to throw up on screen, go ahead and put them in the comments. These are the big ones. And the next big one is, let's put up image 8. This is an email from James Gillier to, among other people, Hunter Biden, discussing, we've covered this on the show before, discussing the creation of a company that would handle the contracts with a Chinese entity. So they're setting it up on how much Hunter's going to make, $850K apparently. The CEO will make $850K. Hunter has some office expectations that he will elaborate. And then at the bottom, this is where it really gets important. At the moment, there is a provisional agreement that the equity of this new company will be distributed as follows. 20 for H, Hunter. 20 for RW, Rob Walker. 20 for JG, I don't know who that is. 20 for TB, Tony Babulinski. 10 for Jim, I assume that's James Gillier. And then 10 to be held by H, Hunter, for the big guy, question mark? So as they're creating this company, they aren't listing Joe Biden as one of the named partners. They are giving Hunter Biden 10% to hold for his father. And just before, we talked about this in the podcast, it was pretty obvious that they were talking about Joe Biden. Let's put up image 9 just in case there's any doubt. Fox News 2 days ago confirmed by contacting other people on the email chain. Headline, source on alleged Hunter Biden email chain verifies message about Chinese investment firm. Sources have told Fox News that, quote, the big guy, end quote, is a reference to the former vice president. What pisses me off, Joe, is even though they've just confirmed it, they're still referring to it as an alleged Hunter Biden email chain. Very strange. Very strange that a headline about confirming it's real also calls it alleged, but I guess that's just a cover you're behind editorial decision. So we know that they're setting up holding companies and secretly holding shares for Joe Biden. This explains how Joe Biden leaves office in the next 2 years. He goes from making under $400K a year to making over $15 million in the 2 years after he leaves office. This explains it. He had secret shares in the holding company. They were holding his shares, holding his money to give to him as soon as he left office. And we also know now through these text messages that Hunter Biden was required apparently to give 50% of his salary to Joe Biden. They operate like a crime family. This is the Biden crime family.
Yeah. I mean, guys, we do have this call at then 888-441-1121. You can call up if you have something, if you're a troll and you're listening, because I know there's trolls listening. I hope you are. Listening. But if you have something that can dispute any of this, I'd love to see it. I mean, anything. I mean, by the way, it's not a coincidence that Joe Biden is staying home till Thursday. He's locking himself up till Thursday. You want to know why? He's hoping this goes away. It's not going to go away. I hope that when he comes out on Thursday, they're there with handcuffs to take him away to jail. I hope so.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, but you know what? It's not going to happen until Americans decide to have enough and turn the place upside down, right? And yank some of these a-holes out of their places, right? Out of their positions of trust, like the governor of Michigan, who's a total dirtbag. I don't know if you saw, Max, did you see that? 86-45, kill the president, basically?
Yeah.
How as a governor do you act that way, right? People are lunatics, man. They're lunatics. This loony left is loony left. Loony left.
And Mr. Producer, I'm going to put up an image. Yeah, go ahead and, real quick. Mr. Producer, go ahead and put up my screen.
Might happen, Talk Lock.
This is behind Gretchen Whitmer. This is what Joe was just talking about, 86-45, which is get rid of, kill it, done, 86-45. 45 obviously referring to the president of the United States. And I wanted to also talk about this. This is a campaign rally, I believe in Minnesota, that Elizabeth Warren was headlining for Joe Biden over the weekend. Elizabeth Warren turned out 8 people, and 2 of them, unfortunately, are too young to vote. So they're sending their surrogates around, and I mean, Joe, I've seen youth soccer practices that have more people watching.
Where are the circles?
Warren in Minnesota.
Where are the circles? Oh my gosh!
Where are the circles?
The circles are missing. People, you gotta help. Hey, hashtag where are the circles?
Wait. The circles have become 3-dimensional, and they've become pumpkins.
Pumpkins. The pumpkin circles.
The circles that they used to put on the ground have become self-aware. They've become 3-dimensional pumpkins, and that's their circles now.
I am really upset that I don't have a circle. Where are my circles? How do they know where to stand? And by the way, they're not. They're standing next to each other, and they're not wearing masks. Or are they wearing masks? We can't tell. Maybe they're wearing masks.
I can't tell.
No, okay.
I can't tell. But
that's a super spreader event. These people are so irresponsible.
It's not large enough to be considered a super spreader event, unfortunately. Well, I guess fortunately. But that is what Joe Biden's Minnesota campaign looks like. I just wanted to make sure we saw it. Not a good look. And Karen says that Kamala Harris had 10 today. Yeah, there are more Trump counter-protesters who show up at these events than Biden supporters. You can go ahead and take that off the screen. Everyone, make sure you hit that share button on Facebook. Make sure you give us a thumbs up on YouTube. Make sure that you like, comment, and
come on, let's break it. Let's break it. Let's everybody share it so we can break it.
And again, text freedom to 89517. So it just seems so obvious to me, Joe, that this is what scares me.
I actually love this. This is, to me, it's making my heart warm, because here's the thing that's going to happen. If they don't do anything about it, if the government doesn't do anything about it, we the people will. You already see it happening. It's happening all over the country. People are like, I can't believe he's not arrested. Why is he not arrested? How can this not be? How can the guy that punched the guy at the thing in San Francisco, how come he wasn't arrested? People are like, whatever. Is there a new set of rules? No rules? Okay, great. There's no rules. Hey, guys, let's all get together because there's no rules, and let's go beat their ass. That's really what's happening in the country. I mean, I don't know if you're paying attention, but it is happening right now. People are going, oh, all right. They want to play. All right, I'll be your Huckleberry. Say when. Do we have a caller?
Do we?
Yeah. Come on, put the call. Who is it? Fernando. How you doing, Fernando? Oh, wait, not yet. Fernando.
Hey, Joe. Hey, Joe. Hey, Max.
Hey, how you doing, brother?
Hey, how's it going?
Doing well, guys. Hey, just a couple of things. I went ahead and signed that petition. I also donated some money to your show. Great show.
Thank you.
And your show also got me motivated to apply for the official certified election judge here in San Antonio, Bexar County.
Yes.
So
nice.
for that, I'm gonna be out there in the polls very soon. I did vote early today, and just to let your audience know that you don't have to wear a mask. I didn't wear a mask, and I also have my red cap, Make America Great cap. And if it doesn't say Donald Trump on it, you're allowed to wear the red cap in the polling locations too.
I love that. Man, you are a patriot. You are my guy. I am giving you a high five.
How are the lines today?
I see that. Hey, awesome, man. And in regards to the crime family, the Biden crime family, which is a great name for it, of course, we can't trust the DOJ or AG with these criminals. So hopefully, in the public square of public opinion in the last 2 weeks of this election, that we can sway some votes to vote red, because we can't count on the AG on this.
No, we can't.
That's all I got.
I agree with you.
Well, thank you so much for your call. And it's good to hear that the polls are working in San Antonio. I have to go and vote today or tomorrow. My wife ordered her ballot and it never came in, so now she has to go waddle in pregnant to vote. It's too important to not vote. They're spending too much money in Texas. So thank you for doing everything you're doing.
You're a patriot.
Let us know.
We love you, brother.
Let us know if you uncover anything in San Antonio, okay?
Thanks, Joe. Thanks, Max. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Take care, brother.
Have a good one.
Max, I get so excited. Fernando, right? I get so excited when people call up for two things. One, he was motivated to go be able to stand at the, for the election, right? To be a election, to work the election, right?
Yeah.
Secondarily, that he had the courage to wear the red cap that says "Make America Great Again," because frankly, Max. We have to be more courageous. We have to know the courage is more infectious than fear, and the more courage you have, it'll start suppressing this stupidity and this evil, this flat evil. We're dealing with evil with the Biden crime family.
Yeah.
Any of us would already be in jail under suspicion. It wouldn't even we wouldn't even be going through the let's check it out, right? It would be you're locked up. We'll throw away the key. We'll figure out if it's true later. That's what they do in the judicial system, right?
And the amazing thing is when you become vice president, when you become a top government official, the burden is not to prove that they did something wrong. They're supposed to avoid even the appearance of impropriety. That's the standard. It's not the regular standard of guilty by a jury of your peers beyond a reasonable doubt. To be in office, you're supposed to avoid even the appearance of impropriety. You're not supposed to do anything that can even be questioned as improper. So the fact that Joe Biden agreed to a meeting with Hunter Biden, the only reason, and Burisma, he did that because he never thought it would come out. He didn't realize that his crack/meth smoking son would leave his laptop at a Delaware repair company and stiff the guy on the bill. But it's incredible how they think they can get away with this. And to get back to Fernando's call, we've seen tremendous early voting here in Texas. I know that Alabama has hit their record for early voting. The good news is that while there are a lot of Democrat ballots coming in, Donald Trump is actually exceeding the expectations based on the polls. So we know that Democrats predominantly vote early. More Democrats vote early. More Republicans vote on the day of the election. Republicans, in terms of ballots turned in, they are keeping pace, at least with 4 years ago, percentage-wise, with Democrats. So Democrats aren't like putting in millions and millions and millions more than expected ballots. It's a lot of ballots, but they're not putting in a ton of ballots. So the good news is that Republicans are keeping pace. The bad news is mainstream media, social media are suppressing this story to stop people from seeing it. They don't want people to know what the Biden crime family is all about. So again, hit that share button today. You can also share it to specific people. So if you know people who are on the fence, who are leaning Biden, send this to them. right? Send this podcast directly to them. You can share it to the messenger and send it to them on Facebook. You can also share our YouTube link with people directly, because the thing I'm most worried about, Joe, is what actually, if we're being completely honest, is what I talked to my mother-in-law last night about. She cast a vote for Joe Biden, and she voted Biden. She lives in New York. She lives in New York, so it's not that big of a deal. But as I'm telling her about Burisma, she's like, "Oh, I didn't know that," right? And that's fine. Her vote won't make or break New York. But there are a ton of people who probably are leaning towards Biden. And if they knew this, they might not vote for Biden. So I'm asking everyone to do two things again today. Share this with people. And two, tell people who are leaning Biden that you know, don't submit your ballot yet. Tell them, listen, if you're going to vote Biden, fine, right? But there's no reason to vote Biden now. You have until Election Day to turn your ballot in. Give it time, because a lot of things are going to come out over the next 8, 9, 10 days that are going to decimate the Biden crime family, decimate them. So those are the two things to do. Share this email with them and tell them, listen, even if you're going to vote for Biden, give it time. You can't take your vote back. Don't do something you're going to come to regret once we learn about how the Biden crime family works. So those are my 2 cents.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you, we are in an unprecedented time, right? Not because it's unprecedented from us being intelligent, because I think we're actually probably more intelligent today as a whole, but because we've allowed this unintelligent, just ridiculousness to creep into our society, and we've let it get this far. So the only way to actually undo this is to take it backwards. And unfortunately, it's like anything else. If you let them create the sidewalk and it dries, they're going to keep walking on it, and it becomes much more difficult to cover that or get that territory back. So that same thing as legalizing marijuana and all the other stuff they do. You can like marijuana, not like marijuana. I don't care, right? But the abuses of some things in our society that are now trickling down to our children is leading to an erosion of ethical and moral just standards, just basic principles.
So we have a caller on the line. We have John who wants to chime in. John, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I sure can. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, how's it going?
Doing great here. I'm calling from Alabama, as you mentioned, and I live in a neighborhood here that I thought was conservative. And when I take the dog correct, I see nothing but Biden, Alabama first. Doug Jones signs up, and President Trump shot himself in the foot by getting big blue for that time, which was a mistake. But anyway, we're trying to backpedal it here and get Jones through the gate. So
do you think that Alabama could go blue?
It's
No.
hard to say.
Come on now.
It's hard to say. I never dreamed that Doug Jones would ever be elected. That's for sure.
I think you need new neighbors.
I think we need new neighbors.
Hey, but here's the other side. There's also a lot of people running around stealing Trump signs to create a false perception, right? There's also people out there beating on Trump fans, right? And Trump fans are actually they're much more aware of that fact. So I just want you to know that the left, they're evil, right? The Biden people are evil. I'm going to call them what they are. They're evil. I accept them where they are, not where I want them to be. And I'm not saying all of them, but if we don't, you can't let the consciousness of what they're trying to put in front of you, that optic, deter you from going to the polls, voting, and encouraging other people around you to vote. You have to, John. You got to. You got to ask people around you to vote as well. You have to.
Well, I was blessed to be able to work as a volunteer at the Trump rally when it came to Madison, Alabama, which is just out on the outskirts of Huntsville. And then I had an opportunity to go over to Madison, Mississippi 2 weeks later and work as a volunteer over there on my own dime, of course. And I was so impressed. I was not in with the muckety mucks by any stretch of any idea, but I worked with some people who were with the campaign, and I can tell you this with absolute certainty: you're not going to get a better bunch of people, a more interested in America group of people than what I saw in the 2016 campaign. I haven't been able to get involved with the 20 ones because I have some elderly parents that I have some responsibilities to take with. But if there are any doubts by anybody out there of what President Trump is, I don't have those things. I don't blindly follow the man. He makes mistakes. He would say I make mistakes too. But we are at a pivotal time in our country. The scum that was run out of the oligarchs that were run out of Russia by Putin, I don't care for Putin. I don't trust him. But at least he had sense to run the clowns out that bought for pennies on the dollar the infrastructure of Russia and sent them away, ended up some of them in London, some in Israel, other points around the globe. So
let me ask you this. We're seeing some news coming across the wire that Tuberville and Sessions are going to be campaigning together in an attempt to try and solve the rift between them, to get all of conservatives just to back the same candidate. Are you seeing any of that?
Not really. I kind of lost. I got a little bit garbled at the beginning of what your question was, but
are you seeing the Tuberville Sessions divide continuing into the general election, or are you seeing conservatives rally around Tuberville?
I think conservative. That's the way in Alabama are. The reason why we were Democrats forever is because they portrayed themselves as conservatives and were the conservatives. I mean, in Alabama, you voted for Republican, you were basically throwing your vote away. So we voted Democrat just by necessity. This Democrat was going to win. You had to pick the Democrat that you wanted to win to represent you here.
Yeah.
Well, Carl,
thankfully, we've got to.
Well, thank you. We're running up towards the end of the show, but thank you so much for your call. And I'll tell you, if you don't already, get a Trump sign out there, because I think you'll be surprised if you start putting a Trump sign out there, getting more Trump signs out there.
Other people do the same thing. Yeah,
neighbors will follow. So if you feel like
my neighbors are mad at me now. I've got a Trump sign out, Trump sign flag up, and got a spotlight on it at night. And one last thing, Joe Otto. Give me a clue as what 16 seconds means.
16 seconds. All right, I'll tell you very quickly what it is. 16 seconds is the time. Every 16 seconds, a child in the United States is abducted.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
for pedophilia.
I had seen something, saw that on the web. Tragic story. We're going to try to do something about that working down here, too. Okay, guys? God bless you.
God bless
both.
you. Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Thanks for calling in.
Thank you so much for the call. Lots of people are still talking about Tig's 16 seconds final word the other day. It's definitely left an impact. The biggest concern I have is, they're seeing massive turnout in Alabama. Joe Biden wants you to put your ballot in as fast as possible because you can't take it back. You can't claw it back. So the good news is that Republicans are keeping pace with absentee ballots. Democrats are not performing according to the polls. If you take the polls that say Joe Biden's 10, 12, 13 points ahead, they're not seeing 10, 12, 13% more Democrat ballots than Republican ballots in a lot of these places. So that is definitely good news. But make sure that you get out and vote. Make sure that you vote early, in person if you have to. I would never trust a U.S. postal worker with my ballot. I'm going to go early for myself.
Not at all.
So make sure that you get and vote. If you have early voting, get in there early so you don't have to face lines on Election Day. Because that's what's really crazy with this, Joe. They're saying, oh, man, the cars lined up for a mile, right, trying to get in the polling place. What they don't mention is in the polling place, instead of having 20 places to vote like they usually have, they maybe have 5. Yeah. So they've shrunk the number of actual spots that you can fill out a ballot for social distancing. And then they're having people line up in cars. So, of course, the lines are getting very long. But make sure you get in and vote. If your state has early voting, vote as soon as you can. And if possible, vote in person just to make sure there's no funny business going on.
100%.
So any final words, Joe, as we wrap this up? Before I give you that, though, I want to tell everyone, make sure in our description we have a link to leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. Please do it. We're starting to get some phrases leaving reviews saying we're conspiracy theorists. So if you have an iPhone, if you have a MacBook, and you haven't already, please do leave us a good review on Apple Podcasts. Link is in the description. Okay, Joe, give us your final word.
Vote. 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 You got to go vote. Right? And you'd say, well, it's not doing any good. Well, if you don't vote, it doesn't do any good because 40% of Christians, right, don't vote. So if they did vote, we wouldn't have to deal with this Antifa crap. Vote.
Yeah.
Understand that courage is more infectious than fear. I say it all the time. God bless you. And, man, we'll come out the other end of this if you just, pray and vote.
Yeah. And what we're seeing in Alabama proves you got to vote. Even if you live in a red state, vote. Even if you live in a blue state, vote. We saw that Donald Trump won by slim margins in Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania last time. You have to vote. You never know. It looks good, looking good in Minnesota, looking good in those 3 other states. But make sure you vote. You never know what can happen. So make sure you get out there and vote. Well, that's going to be it for this edition of the Conservative Daily Podcast. If you like the podcast, please consider also subscribing to the audio version. That way, if you can't watch us live Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern, you can at least listen to us as you go about your day on your phone. Or in your car. There's links to subscribe to the audio version. You can do that on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, or Podbean. Definitely do that. And again, if you have an iPhone or a MacBook, make sure you leave us a good review on Apple Podcasts. Make sure you also subscribe to our YouTube channel, like and follow our Facebook page. Again, we go live 2 p.m. Monday through Friday. We also have a link for you to join our email newsletter, which is another way to sign up for our text club. That's in the description. Or again, you can text the number that we talked about. What's that number, Joe?
It's 89517, and the word is freedom.
Freedom. Text freedom to 89517 and get signed up for our email list there. What else do I got to go through? We have a link for you to get some merch. So, yeah, just thank you, everyone, for listening. Make sure you vote. Make sure you share this with people. And, again, if you know someone who's leaning towards Biden, don't let them make that mistake of casting a vote for Biden and regretting it. At least tell them to hold off until the rest of this information comes out. So again, my name is Max McGuire.
And this is Joe Otto. I guess it did work out that time. This is Joe. This
is going to be the end. This is going to be the end of this edition of the Conservative Daily Podcast. Hey. Remember that the fight to save the family's respect is not over. But the only way we win is if we all stand up and fight together.